Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another stream. It's Friday, and yeah, we're going to talk about a new topic today. And I already see a few people here. Hey, everybody. Nice that you're joining on this Friday. So, yeah, I guess you already know today we are talking about the PEST testing system by Nuno Maduro, which has taken the Laravel community by storm, I'd say. So yeah, I haven't used it myself, and I think as always, it's a good idea to try something out on Larastreamers itself because it's an open source project. There is a lot of code, there are a lot of tests, and I think, that's the perfect way to give it a try. But yeah, today is also special because I am not alone. As mentioned, we do have a special guest today, so I think we're just going to bring him in.
Whoa.
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 Hello,
I was
Jason.
finishing my last bite.
Sorry, I
Hello.
was too fast with the intro.
Oh, it's good. It's a
How
cool
you doing?
intro.
Thank you. How you doing?
Good. Just waking up. Just waking up.
What's the time where you currently are?
It's not that bad. It's 8 a.m.
And your daughter's already awake?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She likes waking up anywhere between 5:50 and 6:50.
And did you already get used to the no sleeping and those different night shifts and everything changing, I guess?
I don't think you ever really get used to it. I think it's just a matter of being able to work with what you got,
Yeah. There you have no other
Definitely sneak
options,
in
right?
some naps every now and then. Yeah, there's no option. There's no alternative. So it's like,
Yeah.
just do it.
That's
Shut
that's
up.
how it is.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Before we start, I wanted to ask you also, what are you currently working on? So I assume from what I know, you mostly work on your shift. I think that's your main job. I don't think
Yep.
you do. Yeah, that's the main job. Yeah, I guess for 1 or 2 years now, right?
It actually just turned 3. Time
Three.
flies. Yeah, we had that lost year of COVID, so
Yeah, yeah, true.
yeah.
Because not because no clients or something, just because there were no releases, right? Or what was the situations there? Or the releases were changed, or
Well, I just meant in general with life, but yeah,
oh yeah,
this year technically there were no releases for Laravel, so no major
oh
releases. I mean, there's
yeah,
a release every week, of course, but yeah, I mean that definitely. I'm actually crafting a blog post that's hopefully going to be out in the next week or two. It's pretty massive. It's kind of like one of your posts where it's like, hey, here's how this thing did. Um, but yeah, I kind of talk about the fact that it definitely slowed Shift's growth for sure, but it's still growing. So all good.
that, that's good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. And yeah, now I remember it. Laravel changed the releases from 6 months to 12 months, and I guess this is what we were talking about at some point because this also reflects your business, of course.
Yeah, and then of course they pushed the September release back because of Symfony. So it's
Oh yeah.
yeah. So this year there were 0 releases. So that definitely
Oh
definitely
wow.
slowed things
Okay.
down.
But I guess everyone is waiting now for the next releases, and then they're gonna do all their shifts for the
Let's hope so. Or
application.
they're
Yeah,
just gonna
let's
be
hope
like,
so.
"Hey, that's only once a year. It's not so bad, and I'll just do it myself."
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to read those articles because yeah, I love to hear those really insights of real projects, real experiences, and yeah, things that happen, positive and negative things that happens. Because yeah, I like to share some of those articles myself as well. Because yeah, it's also the things that I'm most interested in always. Hear how
Yeah.
people are doing, how they are doing with their business, especially like we're like one man shows, and I guess that's quite different from here other companies where you have 5 or 10 employees.
Yeah, the company of one gives it a different aspect. I definitely am going to talk about pieces of that. This thing's going to be, it's a novel. It's a lot. It's a very long post.
Cool. So when do you think you will release it? Do you have already
Probably the end of the
planned?
month. Yeah, I'm waiting to hit one last milestone, and then I need to give it, a proofread, which takes forever because it's so big.
Okay.
So,
Before we start with the topic, one last question. How much time do you have? Is there like any time limit where you have to
well,
leave?
I'm actually doing a live stream at 9:15, so
Yeah.
probably right after you. So an hour plus from now. So half an
Yeah.
hour
Okay.
if
Yeah.
needed.
So this was also like something I had in mind. I also saw that you're doing a stream. So yeah, also check out Jason's streams after mine. So yeah, I think I also planned for maybe 45 minutes, something like this. So yeah, the plan for today is, not sure if you've already seen it. I have used Laravel Shift to shift the tests from Larastreamers to PEST, and we're going to talk about the shift itself. Now that we have Jason here, and then we maybe also look the pull request. What are the changes? I already saw that it failed, so maybe we'll take also a look at why it failed. And I already know that we will do another stream probably next week together with Luke Downing, where we're going to take a look at specific tests and see now that they are switched to PEST, what we can do to even improve them more. And yeah, doing all those little details we can do with PEST to improve them. And the overall goal for me is to check out, do I like PEST? What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons? And then I'm going to decide if I'm going to use PEST for this project and for others. Because I've told you already, I haven't used it before. So yeah, it's pretty much everything new. I just read about it and seen examples, but I never used it myself. All right, so maybe let's take together a look at the pull request from Shift, right?
Oh yeah.
So let me try bring in my new scene here. Here we go. Yeah, by the way, here is the stream later, which Jason was talking about. Whoops, I already clicked it. So
We're
check
not
that
ready yet.
out as well. And here we have the pull request. And
Whoa.
let's make it a little bit smaller.
So how many tests do you have to start? Just getting a rough idea.
I think there are around 400 assertions with Larastreamers.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Cool.
So I'd say quite a lot for this project. And yeah, so what I did already is I've used the shift, as I mentioned, from Laravel Shift to convert the test to PEST. And this is what we get: a pull request
Mm-hmm.
with some information. And maybe before we go through the comments and the changes here, maybe you can talk us a little bit through. So maybe first of all, why you created this shift
Mm-hmm.
and what was the process and what are like what was difficult, what was easy. How do you see people already use it? Maybe some insights before we go here into detail.
Yeah. So Jess and I worked on this probably late August, and in fact, I think I did like a week's worth of live streams where we built this pretty much from scratch. We had to do some stuff off air to kind of make sure we were ready for the next stream to keep things moving. But there were definitely some spots, where we struggled. What we ended up doing was like an iterative pass where we basically take your PHPUnit class-based test and we start systematically like pulling chunks out of it. So we scan it for test cases, then we scan it for like data providers, then we scan it for like any additional methods, and then we scan it for like traits, and we just kind of systematically build a PEST. And we have this intermediary file with a .pest extension that we kind of build up that ultimately becomes the PEST script itself. So the PEST test. Um, and then you can see from like the atomic commits that Shift is known for like adding the dependencies. We go back and optimize the uses. If we see that like all of your feature tests are using the refresh database trait, then we'll pull that up and put it in the PEST test and do it there. And then finally, we even go so far as to look to see if you have any kind of like CI. In your case, you had a test runner, and we updated it to use the new PEST test runner. So in an ideal world, you would have gotten this PR and instantly seen a green checkbox there that you were not only converted to PEST, but of course your CI actions were all passing. That would be, you know, the
Like the
perfect
holy grail, yeah.
head. Yeah. And
And
it does happen.
yeah, I think you. I've seen a stream with you and Frake where you tried it out on one of his projects, and I think there it
Hmm.
immediately worked, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
I
So,
think
which
he
I
had one or two things. Normally it's just
okay,
it's probably a bit of setup or something that we'll see, or maybe a dependency that's wrong. We could even, of course, click into that and see what the issue
yeah,
is.
I'm going to check this out together. But yeah, I think it's pretty impressive because from what I've seen, the styles are quite different from PHP unit now to PEST, and there are some very specific changes, like you don't have those classes anymore. You only have those test methods, and then you have the expectation API. From what I've seen, and yeah, it's pretty cool that you can just use Shift now, and then everything changes now, and it just could work, and there's nothing more you could do, or maybe just one or two little things like we probably have to do here. But yeah, great work on that already. So I think I also saw one of your streams you mentioned where you created this converter, which I think was also pretty nice because I actually had no idea how shifts work in general, all the shifts you're doing. And you it seems like you've come now a long way, and you have like a very good strategy for a new shift, what's to do. And it seems like your code base already is, yeah, pretty good, should just add new shifts. So I think it's a very interesting project also from the code perspective.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. And in the live stream later, we'll see more of that with a little task too. So one thing going back to the PR that I like and as a selling point for PES is if you scroll up just a little bit and we look at kind of like the additions versus deletions in the GitHub in the right corner there, like you'll notice that like we deleted far more code, and I'm sure a lot of those additions that are in there are probably like white space additions that are happening. So the amount of deleted code is a demonstration of how you actually end up writing less code from PEST, because this is a one-to-one conversion of a PHP unit test suite that is now a PEST test suite. And so the fact that you can already, even with these numbers, see about 500 or 600 lines different. I mean, that's less code you have to write when writing test, which is already undeniably like an extra step of programming. It's an important step, but it's still extra code you have to write. So if you have to write less of that, then that's even better. So that's my biggest, like, that was kind of my light bulb moment with PEST was like, not only did I like the idea, of course, but it's also one of those things where like, wow, you're actually writing less code. Like that makes it a little bit a little bit more interesting in my book immediately.
Yeah,
Anything
it's
that you
crazy
can,
as you mentioned. So, sorry, yeah, like almost 600 lines less, which, as you said, yeah, it's much less code to write, but it's also much less code to maintain, which I think for being maintainers of projects, this is also a very big thing because, yeah, the less you have to maintain, the easier it gets to you. For me, it will be interesting to see where all those changes of or the less code comes from, because yeah, as I mentioned, I think it's a lot of like white space, or I guess class in initial
the class
initial
skeleton, yeah.
yeah, like that. And I'm very interested in see if there are any other things that also changed to less code. So because I haven't checked it in detail, so that's what I'm also looking for, and to see where those less lines also come from.
Yeah. Well, let's get in there.
Yeah, let's get in. So, do you want to check out first the issue, or should we go through the file changes and maybe take a look at what has changed together?
We could look quickly through what's changed, but I would say after a couple files, I mean, it's going to start to look the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, so here already, like you mentioned, my GitHub action also has changed now, which I think is pretty cool. And if I remember correctly, do you have now own shifts just for converting, or was it creating those GitHub actions? Yeah,
Yeah, there's a
right?
new CI generator shift that'll actually go in and look at your project and see, do you have tests? Do you have a code style? Do you have PHP stand? Do you have, these kind of things, and run and build you a GitHub action or a Bitbucket pipeline or, a GitLab workflow, or I think they call it pipelines as well. So you can start setting one of these up for your projects. So I've been working without those releases this year. I've been working on more like of the other side of the maintenance. So upgrade is a huge part of maintenance, right? But then the other part of
Yeah,
maintenance is, making sure your application stays, you know, formatted, making sure your application, doesn't have dead code, like those types of things. Tests, of course. So I've really been working on the generators, like, the test generator, the CI generator, the Laravel fixer, where it kind of just goes in and cleans up some modern conventions, the workbench,
yeah.
those kind of tools. I feel like they complete the package, the that Shift kind of offers of like helping keep your code clean and updated.
Yeah, I think this was a good move indeed. Like you mentioned, those also code changes, style changes, keeping everything consistent. Because yeah, I think this all works together. Not only upgrading your code, but yeah, trying to keep it good and improve it. And I think with the tools you have, analyzing the code, I think it's a good move to go also in that direction. Also with this converter, for example, which I also think is a good idea because yeah, if you have a project like this one for me with like 400 assertions, of course, I wouldn't go and do this manually. Probably I would have started and just write the new tests with PEST, but converting all of
Yeah,
them would be a lot of work, which of course I wouldn't
yeah.
do for just for fun for this open source project. But
And that's definitely an option because obviously you can run these side by side, which is cool. But at the same time, like eventually that would get a little bit annoying. Like, I don't know about you, but I kind of like having code being consistent. And eventually
yeah,
it would annoy me to have to go between a PHP unit test and a PEST test in another spot of my code.
yeah, same for me. I also like my code to be consistent, which is sometimes difficult if other
Yeah.
work on your code as well. But I love to automate everything that I can, and I think the more automations, the less I have to think about. And for me, it's also always the same. I don't care what code style I use. I just want it to be consistent and use the one which most of other people use. And then I just don't care. I think it's just easier if you use to a specific style and format of code. And the easier it gets for reading, the more time you have to work on your business issues and not the other thing, which I think is always an advantage with those things. Okay, let's move on here. So, of course, we brought in PEST, which I see here, and a kind of PEST plugin for Laravel. Do you know
Yeah.
what this does?
I think it just creates kind of the connections that need to happen, so you can kind of run some of the um, maybe some of like the HTTP layer of tests, and
Mm-hmm.
then like hooking into some of Laravel's first party assertions. I believe just like any other package, it just gives you that kind of seamless integration with Laravel.
Yeah, so I guess you just need it if you're using PEST in a
Yeah,
Laravel application, right? Yeah, okay.
yeah. Shift adds it if it sees you have a Laravel framework dependency.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now first test here, we already see quite a few changes. And of course on the left we have a class here and we don't have any classes anymore. So what I immediately see, we have now this uses method, which brings in was a
It's,
trade which I've used. Okay, I see. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and then
Since
yeah,
since the PES like tests aren't really class based, you can still decorate it with traits or things of that nature, but you do it through the uses statement and underneath PEST will kind of wire that up. Because really underneath, PEST is still generating a PHPUnit test for you. It's just giving you kind of like this superset of a syntax that you can use to just make writing the test a little cleaner. But
Yeah.
it's still actually kind of wrapping that up and giving it to PHPUnit underneath. And so these kind of functions, these uses, the test, these are all just little wrappers that kind of, allow you in user developer land to write cleaner tests.
Yeah.
But yeah, just think of that like a trait or even an extends to that matter.
Yeah, cool. I think I've seen one of the streams. I think Frake was talking to Nuna about how PEST works under the hood, and I think it was really interesting to see how, yeah, in the back he's creating those classes again back together and then run them. So I'll try to mention the link here in the description for this YouTube video that you can see those as well, because I think that's quite interesting. Okay, and next now we see a change of a test. We have now this little functions here, it, and I think the other one is test, and you describe your test, and then you have a callable, and here you have defined what's happening here. So when I just scan over through those changes here, I think we just have changed the method here, and the rest stays the same, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You just get kind of, again, that scripty syntax where we call a function. Shift kind of does some magic to see, are you using the it syntax in your test or not, and then determines to use the it function or the test function. It gives you the nice sentence case based on your snake case, so that's nice.
So that's
And then
because
one
I've
tiny,
used here it.
yeah,
That's why it gets it. Okay.
yeah.
Good to know.
We might see where you didn't use it, and so
Yeah,
it'll default to
there
test.
will be some for sure. Yeah.
And then one tiny thing in here, otherwise it pretty much did just take the body of the test and bring it over. But we'll see on line 24 on the right, you just get you got the new the expectation API where you can chain things fluently instead of saying this assert equals kind of stuff. You can say expect this thing to do all these other things, and in this case, expect it to equal the other channel ID.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I didn't see this before. Okay. Is this already the expectation API?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Expect something. Here I have my value and to equal. Let me just try to scan through real quick because I'm really interested in the changes for me on how it reads, how easy it is for me to understand. Because now the first time I see it, I'm not used to it. It feels for me like it's more difficult to read because I guess just because I'm used to this assert equals and then I have those values here. But I can see how this can be useful. Yeah, for sure. Expect something and then to equal. And I guess I've also seen that you can chain then different methods here to this
Yeah, you could
expectations
say,
and
yeah, to start with, to be greater than, you could chain a bunch of things instead of having to keep saying this equals, this equals, this equal, all
yeah.
the assertions stacked. Now, you don't have to adopt this. It's done in an atomic commit. You're still welcome to use PHPUnit's assertions directly. So you could, if you didn't like that piece, this is one of the reasons Shift does atomic commits, you could revert that commit and it would go back to this assert equals.
Oh, I can just convert this commit back and it would leave the assertions
Yeah.
like it was before. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's
if you decide you
interesting.
don't like them at the end of the stream, you could do a git revert on that one piece and it
Yeah,
should
just this one. Okay.
cleanly unapply it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, then already it's pretty cool that you have those atomic, like you mentioned, atomic commits. Then you can just use the things that you want and leave the others out. Okay. Yeah. Would be interesting to see if maybe also in the viewers, let me see how many people are watching currently, 12. Are all of you using PEST and are you using like all of it all in, or maybe just use the method syntax and don't use the expectation API? From what I've seen, most people love the expectation API. So I guess it would be interesting to see.
I think it'll grow on you once
Yeah.
you write a few yourself. I think it'll grow on you.
Yeah. So that's also why I thought I have to try it myself, because I will never know if I don't try it. Okay, good. Maybe let's take a look at another one here. Just scan through this. I think here also, yeah, of course, every time we have those assertions, they are changed to the expectation. Besides those changes for the assertions, is there anything else PEST related that you are changing in with the shift? Anything that I just don't think of, or
There's nothing. There's definitely a lot more pest offers that we could automate. For example, you can even collapse tests if they're super simple. So there's a lot more syntactic sugar that could be used inside of pest. Um, some of those things are a little harder to automate. So there's not any more that Shift's going to do beyond the expectation API right now. That's something we might continue to add in the future as this gets more popular, hopefully. But to your point, like we also don't want it to be so jarring. So I think this is a good kind of in between where you still kind of see your code and it's not like completely different to you.
yeah,
So we're introducing some new concepts, but we're not going so far as to like adopt every single one of the helpers and like chainable, collapsible things that Pest has. Because
yeah,
there's a lot more cool stuff you could do.
yeah. It also seems there are more and more features coming. So I guess probably then also more work on your side if they're with some new features. What I'm here interested in, if I would have some expectations here, for example, for something similar, would you also chain it already with shift, or would it still be on one line? So expect
Um,
something to be equal and expect something to be something else.
yeah, if those were all key zero, I think they would still be one per line. I think.
Hmm.
Um, I'd have to check that though. It's 50-50. I'd have to go
Yeah.
look.
Okay. I was just curious. Yeah. Okay. One thing that came to my mind. So, oh, my new keyboard gets like AFK every 60 seconds that I don't write something. I guess I have to
Uh-oh.
find out how to change this. And what I was looking for is a setup method because I'm pretty sure here we need to
Mm,
have some changes. Yeah. Okay, so on the left, I have a setup method where faking something and expecting. What do you define here? Yeah, for every HTTP call, I want to have specific responses. So of course, we don't have a setup method anymore with PEST because we don't have a class, but we now have this for each. Okay, so basically this is the same as my setup method. I just use this for each method, right?
yeah, before each.
Yeah, okay, before each, yeah. Okay, the rest stays the same. Okay, cool. Do you think, is there anything interesting which could be here, which we should try to find something, or should we try to
I don't
check out what's going wrong?
I don't think so. I think we should see quickly what's going wrong in your CI output and then let's
Yeah.
get into the code locally.
Okay, then
Hopefully
let's
we can
do.
get this merged.
I'm not sure about that because yeah,
Oh, you don't want
uh,
to merge it? Okay.
yeah,
That's all right. We'll get it
I'm
running. How about that?
yeah,
Let's get that green checkbox maybe.
yeah. So maybe after the stream with Luke then, and maybe I know then more, and then I know if I want to merge it in. But yeah, I'm not yet fully convinced just because I don't know it well, and I need to take a little closer look. Okay, so what's happening here? Access level setup must be public. What's
Mm,
that in the testable? Okay.
something in test case class, something must be off about that.
Yeah, so I guess I've used a different
Might be a
access
different
level for
visibility
my
there.
setup method than testable is using. Okay, I guess we're
Let's
just
take a
going to
peek.
try it out ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the correct one. Let me check. Do I see this here again? No, let me go back. 122.
Oh, you got GitHub's little command line helper.
Yeah,
That's
the
nice.
client, which I think is pretty cool for just checking out
Yeah.
pull request. I think that's the only thing I use it for because that's just much handier than doing it myself.
Sure.
Okay, so
So let's open your test case class and
yeah.
see if you've got a setup method in there and what visibility it has. And if not,
Okay.
then we might have to ask good old Google about that one.
So here we go. So I'm using here public. All
That should be right.
right. And which is the other one being used? What was it called again?
Oh, well, that's annoying.
I don't see the output. Yeah, here we
There we
go.
go.
So it was complaining about the testable concern of PEST. All right. Testable. And let's include.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, this is it already. All right. Okay, this is protected. Could this be the issue that they are not the same?
Yeah, I wonder. I guess protected is the right one. I thought the setup method was public, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's change
That's
it to protected, and
That's
let's try to
interesting
rerun locally.
because I'm pretty sure
But
I have just used PHP Storm to just. Oh, it seems my IDE is a little bit slow.
I'm gonna check
Guess
the.
because of the stream. Yeah, but I think that's how I created the method. So I'm pretty sure it's been using public as well. But yeah, let's just give it a try by just changing it, right? And then see what it does. But now, since we are now locally, I think I have to do something else before I can just run PEST, right? Or because I
composer
saw
update, maybe.
some instructions here.
Oh, at the top, yeah. As long as you run composer update, you should be good to go.
Okay, let's do this one. Composer update. Okay, we see some updates here, probably also PEST. Yeah, okay. And then after that, let me check. I can run it with this.
Yeah, it is protected. That's strange. I'm gonna make a note to make sure that we run that for you because that was something that changed, I think, in PHP 9, PHPUnit 9.
Mm-hmm.
And there is Shift does actually check for that, but I guess the PEST converter does not. So I'm going to make a note to update PEST converter to check visibility.
In the meantime, I have here a question by Dan. Oh, I need to scale this. Okay, that's funny. I don't get to the handles to scale it. Here you go.
So
Yeah,
I'm not
but
familiar with Livewire tests, but again, if they're a PHP unit test, it will convert them to their equivalent. Now, if you're asking about the PEST plugin for Livewire, then no, we wouldn't like automatically utilize those methods.
okay, yeah, I've seen that there's a plugin for Livewire, but I've not seen what it's doing, so I guess I have to check that out as well.
No, we won't do anything specific for Livewire. Again, we'll just kind of copy over the test. So
Yeah.
glad to kind of hack on that a little bit, but I am not actually that familiar with Livewire, so I'm not sure what those tests look like. Do you have Livewire tests in this project, maybe?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
quite a lot
Well,
of
then
them here.
we'll see how those run.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll give it a try,
Let's
right?
do it.
Then. Okay. I see some already
I mean,
passing.
it might have just been that.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. We got some failures.
Okay, we have some of them. I know that there's already a plugin for PEST in PHP Storm because normally I run my test differently, but I haven't checked that out. Maybe I'm also going to do that in the next stream then.
Well, the fact that these are running now is very promising. So I did see at least 2 failures in there, but
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Me too. But besides that, everything now looks pretty good, which is
And
already
we see the
amazing
new
just when you think about it.
yeah, we see the new PEST output here with nice sentence case. It does this, it does that. So
yeah, I really liked it. It's beautiful. I think it's also similar to when you run the test through Artisan test. I guess
Yeah,
it's the same output, right? Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I think it's pretty beautiful, but what I like with using PHP Storm is like having this bar where I see all the failed tests together and just click through them. And then I also have some links to go directly to them. Maybe we also have that here. Oh yeah, we also have that here. Okay. So
So
let's
it looks like there's actually some syntax errors um, here on these
on the
undefined
output, or do you mean the
Well,
error itself?
well, this one's different. Sorry, I was catching up on the scroll there. Let's just
Okay.
work through these maybe one by one.
Yeah. So it says undefined property. So I have a property YouTube ID, and let's check this out. So here I'm using this,
Properties are
but
a little bit strange
I don't.
in pest land.
Do you know out of your head what you do with properties? Should they be
I'm
do they get
definitely not out of my head. But
okay.
off the top of my head,
Ah,
um,
yeah, we've been there already, right? Off the
I
top of
think
your head, yeah. Wow, I need to get
so.
used to that.
Is that in set up in the trait maybe, or
Um,
where does the
let
YouTube ID originally come from? Maybe we should
let's
look at
check
the
this
original
out.
code.
Submit stream action test. What was it like before? Submit stream. Here we go. Okay, so it
Oh,
was
okay.
set on the class itself, but it seems like we lost it.
Mm, that'd be kind of strange to do. Um, if this were me, it's never changing. It's never dynamically. I would probably just inline these numbers as 1, 2, 3, 4 in each of the spots.
So let me check how many times. Oh, that's
I
very
mean, it's only
interesting.
this test, so
Yeah.
it's kind of weird code.
Okay,
Anyway, I would
that's
just probably
strange.
inline those.
Yeah. Okay. Um, is already strange for me as well because I'm not sure why I would do this. Okay, then I think let's run them
Oh,
again.
a couple
Or
more. Sorry,
sorry.
there were more instances of that property in
Okay.
there. Might want to do the old
Oh,
Control G or
inside the
whatever.
test. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. You were right.
Cool. Nice.
Okay, and then I guess we're just. Is it this one? Submit stream action test. Yes. Okay, this
Nice.
looks better now. Let's run all of them again.
If you really wanted a property, I think you would put it in the before each or something, and then it would live on.
Yeah, but do you think that you don't handle those at all currently with Shift, or would it be nice
Um,
to bring those inside a before each if there are some of them, or
yeah, yeah. I mean, it definitely should have at least warned you
oh
about
yeah,
those.
yeah, or I
Um,
guess a warning would be
and maybe
nice,
it
yeah.
did. We didn't finish going through all the comments. In fairness, it
Oh,
might
that's
have been
true,
in
yeah.
there. So,
But let's check
but
now.
I will make a note. I think the other one was a syntax error, which might have been another bad conversion. Um, it should kick out in a second.
Wait,
Update stream
update stream
action
action
test.
tests. Okay, that's another one, yeah, okay. Can I just copy this one? Update stream action test. Oh, wait. Update stream action test. Why didn't I find this? Let me check again. Update stream action.
I don't know. Oh, it's in test. It's just
It's in test, but it has the wrong name. Could this be? Let me check
maybe.
again. Is it really here? Oh yeah, interesting. It has the wrong name. Okay, so I guess I have to change this. Could this also be an issue? I didn't remember what
It
the
didn't convert this because it doesn't have a test name, but the fact that that file lives in the same location makes me feel update stream action. Yeah, I think your update stream action is actually in your tests folder, and it probably needs to be in your source.
wait. Let me check again. So,
If you open up your navigator, it looked like the test and the implementation were in the same level. See?
oh
So you've
wow,
got the
is this
implementation
really
highlighted.
the
That's why I
action
can't find
itself?
it. I mean, unless Shift accidentally moved it, which it might have. We can check the PR, but I would put that back where it belongs.
Yeah, that's really strange. Let me update stream action. Yeah, it also could be. I think that's one I created some weeks ago. Maybe it was just me. So, um, update.
Sometimes in PHP Storm, when I make a new class, it puts it in the wrong spot if you're going quick, you know. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
so
the
maybe it
test.
was really that. So the action has been used here,
Doesn't look
but
like.
yeah, it doesn't look.
Yeah, we didn't move the file, so I don't think
Yeah,
that was
this
Shift's
also would be
mistake.
strange. All right, so let's why don't I see the correct? Wait. Move file
Move
is what I wanted
file.
to do. So this belongs to where do we have it? App. Oh, let me do this. I'm not sure if I thought I could do this here on the file itself, but let's try on the class here because I think I can somehow change the namespace with
Yeah, if you
moving
change,
it.
I think if you highlight the namespace, you should be able to change it, or this too. Yeah, move class.
Oh yeah, that's the dialog I think I was looking for because here I have auto completion right here. App actions. Do we have some subfolders here? Submission. Let me check again. Update stream action. No, it's not about that. Okay. So I guess that's where it belongs. Okay, my keyboard is doing some strange things. No, okay, here we go.
Cool. All right. Yay.
Okay, let's check again. Yeah, now it's here. Okay, that's much better. And I guess now we can try to run it again.
It's gonna
And then,
pass. They're
yeah,
all gonna
hopefully.
pass.
Oh wow.
Uh-oh. We got a bunch of failures there. Those weren't failing a minute ago, so I wonder if they have
I'm
incorrect
pretty
references
sure
or
they are
something.
now. Let me check again. App actions, update actions. So this should have changed with the refactoring, but I wonder. I'm pretty sure
I
it has
wonder,
to do with that.
yeah, I wonder if things were somehow referencing test features
Yeah,
action,
that's also what I'm
because those weren't
assuming.
failing a minute ago.
Yeah.
And that was PHP Storm. PHP Storm did a bad job there. It should
Oh,
have found all the references.
yeah. I should have known better. Yeah.
What I'm curious when you run like git status when all these are done, so if how many files changed. Can we go back to PHP Storm real quick and run a
Yeah.
search for that test features action?
Let's go back to this.
I would just run like a project search, is what I was thinking.
Sorry for what? What do you want to look for?
Just run a project search for test slash feature slash action and then that update stream. I'm just curious if there's references in the code to that old location, is
Okay.
all I'm
Yeah.
trying to determine.
So let's test feature.
I think it's tests, plural.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, see, there's still some references. We just need to search and replace those real quick, and I think you're going
Yeah.
to be good to go. Should be able to do
Really strange.
Command Shift R.
Yeah, I think I've changed this.
Oh,
Because it's not like, nope. That's one of the shortcuts which I do do by hand, which I can't seem to remember myself. Yeah, I think I have lost the shortcut at some point.
so just change that to app action and you're good to go.
So we want to change this now to app actions, right?
That should do it.
Yeah, I think so. Let's run all of those, just 3 of them, and then let's run this again. And now, fingers crossed. Okay, still one failing. But it seems less than before.
Maybe we missed
Let's
one.
take a ready look what this was. Update stream action test, okay. We are already in here, and what was the issue? Oh, we don't see it here. Okay, so I guess I have to wait to see the error message. Okay. I guess I should also install the parallel plugin. Then this would be a little bit faster.
Oh yeah, good call. Well, let's look at the comments on the PR real quick since we're running low on time. Let's see if
Oh yeah, right.
there's anything else it mentioned that maybe will help us finish.
Oh, well, I might really need to get in one of the new MacBooks. Everything is a little bit slow here. So shift detected Laravel. Okay. Helper methods. Okay, you should review.
So just that one file, we can look at that here in a minute. That's talking about the expectations there. And then there's your parallel plugin, all good.
Okay, it's mentioned.
And then
Okay,
of course,
that's all.
just a little feedback. So it didn't say anything about that property, so I'll definitely make a note to
Yeah.
kind of try to clean that up. Update stream action not found. So it seems like it just still has a bad
So
reference.
here it's now not finding the correct one. So
It's just import it. Yeah.
yeah, this one. Okay, let's clean this up as well. And I think with that now we really should be good to go.
Cool.
So one last time, and then we hopefully can make this work in time as well, so that I can leave you off from this stream with some green running tests here.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna have it. So really, to recap, there was one issue with the conversion. That was the internal property for that class, that YouTube ID, and then what updating the test actually revealed was an incorrect location for one of your implementation files. That action was in the wrong spot, and since PEST is not class based, it actually helped kind of determine that, because that class wasn't imported in your code, but because it lived right next to it.
Yeah, that's why it
was just working. Yeah,
that's why it was working, because the code knew where it was, but for PEST it was difficult to find out where it really lives because there was no full path for that. Yeah, okay, I can see now.
And if you like deployed to production without your tests folder, for example, like I don't, like I bundle my code and it doesn't have all the extra folders, then that would have generated a runtime error, of course, in production.
Yeah, so that's definitely not where this piece of code should be. Okay, we are green, so that's good.
Green. Green is
150 tests are passing, so that's nice. I think with that being said, we've made it work. That's good. Is there?
Oh, we don't want to see the green checkbox. I want the green checkbox on GitHub. Can we commit those changes?
Oh yeah, of course we can.
And push them to the PR. Let's do it. Could just whip them up.
Here we go. So let me bring this in again. tests are running.
Cool.
Let's hope they are fast.
Kind of fast.
Yeah.
So what are your hesitations on? You just want to get more familiar with PEST, or not sure if you like writing the syntax yet, or what are you thinking?
I think one main concern I have in my head, which I don't know if it's true, I just have it in my head, is with a lot of chaining those expectations and chaining. I think I've seen other things change that a lot of those tests which I've seen didn't had the nice structure from arrange, act, assert, which I really like. And it seemed for me that this gets a little bit lost with some of those chaining things that you can do. I'm not sure if it's really
Yeah.
true, but it seems so. I don't see it now with those converted tests because, not too much has changed except of those expectations call with just one check after it. So I guess it would be interesting to see then with Luke if we take a look at some specific tests and see, okay, what would be now the best way to improve this PHP unit test to use some of those more past features and then see what this looks like. And I guess I need to see this myself and then I probably
Yeah.
better know if this is true what I have in my mind or if it's just in my mind and it's not.
That makes sense. Yeah, I
What
don't use PEST in all my projects either. So,
you don't or you
and
use?
again, I don't use it in all
Yeah,
of
don't.
mine.
Mm-hmm.
I've adopted it in a few, but just to try it out, like you're talking about. But you also don't like. I probably would never write pests with like some of their one-liner chains. Like I do. Like I think I still like that traditional, like you said, kind of you know structure to see kind of what the test is doing. I don't want it to be too fluent, too line noisy. Like the tests to me are a little bit of documentation, so I don't mind having that kind of old school line by line code.
Yeah, so
So
especially in this project, we have lots of tests with very specific set up the scenario before we act and before we then test something. And it's really important to that this is very clear because without that, I have no idea what we're really actually testing and what is needed in order to set up this case for this test. And I need to know if I can still have that with PEST. So I think that's
yeah,
most important for me. And I think I'm also in a phase where I'm pretty happy with my tests. I've been working now with PHPUnit so long, and I found a style which I like, and I'm pretty fast at it. And I think then always you're carefully before switching to something
yeah,
new. It's not totally new, but of course it takes effort, and you need some time to learn it and adapt. But yeah, I'm also a pretty big fan of what they're doing, and I've seen some cool stuff. I guess I just have to try it more myself, and then so I can really answer those questions for myself.
yeah. Well, I see a green checkbox up there. It doesn't look like the UI changed, but I see the green checkbox, so we made it.
You seen it?
There it
Yeah,
is.
it's green.
Cool.
Awesome. That's a good ending for the stream. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jason, so much for coming to the stream,
Yeah.
giving us a little bit of insight to what the best converter does and going through this and make this work. As I mentioned in the next stream, I'm going to have Luke here as a guest, and then we dig a little bit more into what PEST can do. Is there anything from your side you want to plug? I know you have your stream now in like 20 minutes, so
Yeah.
everyone please check that out as well. And besides that, any other new things coming or anything you want to mention?
Nothing new coming. Check out, if you don't have the Workbench, check out the Black Friday specials. We're running a 25% discount on the Workbench licenses right now. But otherwise, yeah, I'm going to go get some coffee and start up my own stream here in about 15 minutes. So hopefully I'll see some of you all there.
Awesome. Yeah, I will be there for sure. And I hope to see some of you there as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Jason, for being here. It's now a new PEST journey, which we started here. And yeah, let's see how it goes. And we are going to find out in the next stream then. Thank you. Bye.